All right. So we are live on all three platforms. Should be right now. Just double checking. All right. Yep. Okay.
All right.
All right. Yep. So what's going on, people? All three left platforms are live. This is just to introduce the crew. Next week, Thursday, Project Open Mic Show will return at 8:30. Handling technical difficulties. Apologize on my end, and technology nowadays, how things are. All
Yeah,
right.
needlessly complicated. Let's just
Yeah.
say that. All right.
All right. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking. We'll introduce more people that's gonna be part of the the crew, as some of the other people. Gonna be, we have other people that's gonna be a part of the Project Open Mic. Like I said before, this is a collab of people that I know that I think can bring different and interesting topics from all over. I'm trying to get more people also from different parts of the world. Hopefully, if on Facebook, Micah, I'm trying to get in contact with you. Hopefully, you could join in and say your points from being over the pond and many other places, of course. So we could talk about this. But of course, you already know about me. I started this thing to be like, again. This is the radio, be a radio show and get things going. And if you go to Project Open Mic on YouTube, as you saw in the bottom, if you go to that on the YouTube, subscribe and comment and stuff, share, do the usual stuff. But you'll also see another person that has a myriad of different topics on there already. Andre, which is Andre's Open Mic, his he has things from relationship to mental health to all kind of stuff. So and we that's what I say we talk about politics in a sense. And I want to tell say this again because a friend of mine asked me, look, I talk about politics in the sense of I don't really too much care about left versus right in some things. I will call out facts and call it straight down the line as best as I can. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I'm not gonna deny that. But I will try to bring the reason I bring up the politics part of it because culture has been changing to some weird places nowadays, and I don't like how these things are going. I don't like it, but it's wrapped up with politics and politics down culture is downstream of politics and how you get fired for thinking something that you always thought of. Not no problem, but you get fired from your job and all this stuff. That's why I'm independently doing this. I used to have a radio show and I still have it on. I'm gonna set it back up on YouTube, which was Radio T3. Again, had it for about 2012 to 2015. Had a lot of viewers, I mean, listeners, I should say, had a lot of listeners, and at the peak, we had about 9 million listeners listening. So it was very good, but it was very good, but because of advertisers saying this kind of stuff I was talking about was getting a little too picky, and they don't, and we've seen what's going on right now. Advertisers don't want to put their names to a lot of stuff. So this is basically a grassroots from the bottom up. If you like what you're hearing, please share it with other people. Help us out. We will set up a Patreon and subscribe star and stuff because this takes time and money to put a lot of this stuff together. But at this point, I understand. Hey, you ain't got to do nothing. This is a free broadcast for a couple months so people could get it. And because to broadcast through terrestrial was like you got to do $1,000 a month to get that. So I'm nowhere close to that right now, including with how the pandemic has been slowing down everybody's revenue. So I get it. So right now, just listen in. If you like what you have, share, add subscribers to the YouTube. I will put up a Project Open Mic Facebook page, and also for the people in Europe, Tempo FM, Radio T3. I'm gonna keep that as because this is basically an extension of Radio T3. So that's what this is about. Put up a Project Open Mic so we could have discussions of all these things. Um, I was basically have thank shout outs to Anderson as we're gonna put up a video that's gonna be broadcast on the YouTube channel, Project Open My YouTube, as we went through we literally went through what Black Lives Matter really means. Their website, we went to the website, read it. You go there, read it. So tomorrow at 7:30, it should you'll see a video of what we're talking about. So we'll see how that works out in that regard. So right now, I'm gonna, like I said, let me switch so you can see. Hopefully, we see my ugly mug and look at the camera. But yeah, that's what you do. Hopefully, now the sync issue from the last video is corrected. I had to do a lot of stuff at the last second, so I hope that everything is better now. I really do. So we'll see how all that works out. All the sync issue from the last video is corrected. I had to do a lot of stuff at the last second. So yeah, so hopefully we'll see all that work out. But anyway, like I said, y'all see me. I am the person who came up with the idea. Then again, Andre is another person. You might be seeing him as well too. You can see a lot of other videos out there about this, and I'm gonna introduce to you guys a couple more people too that's gonna be there, which is a husband and wife duo who's gonna be a part of this project over Mike again.
I like that husband and wife duo.
So I have Ken, who's basically I met in the last couple of years, became a good friend, and
Couple of years, dude. We've been riding. Come on, this is almost a decade now.
You think so? No, it's not.
Yes,
no, it's
dude.
not.
Yes, it is.
2014 is when I started that other channel.
Dude, you do know it's 2020, right? That's 3-4 more years away from a decade. You just said a couple of years. I'm offended.
Okay. All right.
Our lifelong friends here with you. We just met.
Whatever. And of course, like I said, his lovely wife Tessa.
Yeah, I've been knowing her for more than a couple of years. Okay, just saying.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. But they, like I said, they're husband and wife, and you guys been married for how long, for real?
We've been married for 5.5 years. Been together for closer to almost 10 years. Actually, 10 years next year, and we've been knowing each other for about, I will say, 15. So she's my best friend and my worst enemy. I'll roll up into one.
Oh, trust me, I still remember that first day. I met her, and I asked her how you put up with him, and she's like, "A lot of patience."
Look here now. Is this open mic or are we dissing people?
No, we're not. Oh my goodness! But yes, like I said, these are again married couples. So again, if questions, this is what I'm talking about. Like open mic is gonna be about for marriage, dating. Like it's not just gonna be all about politics. It's gonna be all topics. Fathers, children, mothers, the whole 9 yards. We're gonna go through this because I don't want to feel the same. There are some topics that are gonna be repeated over and over again. Granted, we're humans, but that is part of that is what we're gonna be attacking and give you, because okay, let me put it this way. A lot of people always try to say we're going to keep it real and all this stuff, and most people always, that's why they didn't want to name it this, no real talk, none of that nonsense, because of when people say that, they don't really keep it really real. They don't keep it on really 100, is whatever. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no such thing as unbiased. That word is a word, because everybody has a bias, every single person. So I don't, if I would give you objective views where to present it, but I can't give you unbiased views because I've been on this planet for 37 years. I'm not gonna. I can't 100% reprogram everything. If you provide me good facts and I think you're right, then that's it. As a Project Over Mike, we could open up a conversation and change stuff. But other stuff than that, no. No, I'm just giving you the 100% look at how this works out. So, in that regard, so is your lovely wife is there, sir?
Yes, she is.
All right. I'll start like I said. So these guys, like I said, will be part of the crew. You will, if you go to YouTube, you're gonna see more. Like if you go to YouTube, you're gonna see a list for Andre. You're gonna see a playlist for the show. I'm gonna give these guys their own list, so you can see you have a plethora of different videos that you could peruse and click on, and maybe have something to listen to when you are, I don't know, when if you're at work and you want to hear something off the side as a podcast and everything. That's what this will be, and then of course at the time, if you guys help us share the radio show and help us out, of course I'll try to get it on iTunes and Spotify and everything else as well too. We're gonna go full core with this thing as well, and anybody who this thing is broadcast worldwide, of course. But if you have anything that you think that the internet could help you in your thing as advertisement stuff, let me know at projectopenmic@gmail.com, and we could have a conversation about doing commercials and helping you guys brand, because this is like I said, grassroots. No big corporation, none of that stuff. Straight from people just come together and having conversations.
Okay.
That's what it is. So, as a topic starter, as I say, so because basically, to be honest, Ken basically told me his wife wanted to talk about some stuff that's going on, and Tessa, if you're there, what got you wanted to talk about stuff?
In reference to what's currently going on?
Yeah. I mean, this is just basically a simple chat. It's not this is not the main show setup. It's just a simple chat. I'm introducing everybody else to you and Ken. But if you have something on your mind that you want to talk, hey, let it rip.
Gotcha.
Because yeah, I think you wanted this because this is as Confucius did said, may you live in interesting times. But a lot of people don't understand that was a curse. That was not good. That would mean that because I want to go back to boring times where we ain't got to talk about a lot of nonsense. But right now we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Anything that's on your mind right now, dear?
Hold on a second. She's having a she couldn't hear you for a moment. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch over to audio.
Okay,
one
no
moment.
problem.
Sorry about this. Let's see here.
Hey, like I said, everything we really are starting from the grassroots. That's what I'm saying. This is from the grassroots up, and of course, I also will set up a part where we have interviews with people, and also, if anybody feels strongly about certain things that we said, I will set up a thing where we have, because again, I want to give the audience a time to open mic up as well too, to have a conversation and talk. As if you saw the last video, there was people in the chat was saying certain things, and I want them to, if you feel strongly, to set up an interview and stuff and talk about things, just to get it out. Now, because of how things was going, tonight's show was supposed to be about rules versus me, rules for me, not for thee. But that will be next week, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Central Eastern time. Sorry, that's what we're going to talk about, because I wanted to have some clips and audio clips and video clips to show to see that people, to see how people are doing certain things. Because we have a lot of people who are talking and saying that we should not, how the best to put it, like, we got people now, people I kind of don't like when certain people do things. There's a couple pet peeves of mine. One is, I don't like when people try to insult my intelligence. I don't like that. I'm not stupid. I'm not the smartest person out there, but I'm not. Do not try to make this pretension over me, because again, like in the last video I showed, CNBC newscaster was talking about this is a peaceful protest, no rioting. They set a couple of fires, but nothing crazy. While behind him, a whole building was being burnt down. Like it was big blaze burnt down. I'm like, you can't say that where I could see behind you and see what you're talking about. That's kind of like, what the heck? That is the crazy part about this. Then then you have people who, is hypocrites. People call it hypocrites. Yeah, it's hypocrites. But also when people like again, give an example when we had the horrible, everybody talk about the guns and stuff, gun control and everything. And we talked about it on the channel before. On you could go back and see past videos of it, but not in this presentation. But we have people who's like, oh, I'll just give a name as an example, like Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, we need to stop the guns and make it harder to get guns and stuff, which in most cases it is harder to get guns and everything. But they're saying that while having armed guard security, live in their mansion that has walls and security, while common folks like y'all, and the common regular person, yeah, you're left to the wolves while they are protected. So I do not like that. I do not like when people like celebrities say, "Oh, well, let's get rid of." Yeah, but you're protected. The regular common folks are not. Same thing with politicians say the same thing too. And then right now, you got a lot of governors and mayors and everybody's about, oh well, and saying about, we should not open back up, we should close down and everything. Yeah. Here's the thing though, most of those government officials can't get fired unless you vote them out or have a special election. But they're saying your job that you do could be nail salon, could be hairdresser, could be building this or creating toy bids for children. That's your livelihood. They're saying that your job is not essential, but their job, which is just basically politic making and standing in front of the cameras and bolstering, is essential. I don't like that. That should not be the way it should be. That is something that kind of does irk me when people have that setup. So another person who's going to be a part of the thing, which will be like I said, Anderson. He's in LA and he saw the story that I have the story about that when one of the council LA council members said defund the police, says defund the police, and said defund the police, and then she took money from the of course public money, of course taxpayers money, and tell the police, hey, we could defund y'all, but I'll pay you to become my private security, my private security. So yeah, again, rules for thee, not for me. That's what that's the kind of thing. And again, that will be the show for next week, Thursday. That's how that's going on. Also, I want to have it on record, kind of because of what's going to happen tomorrow on the channel. I want to week Thursday. That's I want to change something a little bit. I ain't changing the video because it is what it is, but I want to give an addendum to something that I said in a video will coming out tomorrow. And what I wanted to say is this. Now, in that video, I went to blacklivesmatter.com and checked out what they believed in and what's their mission statement. I want you to, and I created links. You'll go and watch it and listen and hear what it is. I read it verbatim because I did never know what they're talking about. So, we have that set up. But in there, they had a part where it said they want to get rid of Western nuclear family norms and wanted to have the whole thing like this in Africa, which none of these people have went over there to do anything. But I digress. They wanted to set this up to be like, oh, okay, this is a you want to raise it by the proverbial village. It takes a village to raise a child, and that's what it said. So I'm just clearing that part up. I didn't say in the video, but clear that part up. But the problem is, though, it's still a problem in that regard, because I've seen if the village is a good village, then you will raise productive and helpful citizens. But if the village is bad, then what you get bad citizens. You get bad children being raised, and we are seeing this right now. That's why I said politics is culture is downstream from the politics is upstream from culture, because we're seeing certain politicians pushing that, basically making a lot of men basically they're making they're demasculating a lot of young men and kids and boys. They're doing that. I do not like that. We have that's why hopefully they get my issues straightened out. But that's why I have a husband and a wife, and people, and you're gonna have all kind of topics about it, because I think a man and a woman need each other. Now, I'm not against if I have to take a choice where people say, oh, well, if you have have this same sex people raising kids and stuff like that, if I had a choice, no. But I'm sorry, the best choice is to have a man and a woman to raise a child, because it helped show the difference and help make a strong society. Because the daughters, if they find somebody if the man and woman, they don't got to be married, but even if they show that if they love each other and show compassion and everything and treat each other with respect, the young boy will see, wow, the woman I should be looking for and how my father treats my mother is something I need to reciprocate onto the person that I'm looking for to have in a relationship. And then also, so again, you've seen the type of, he's going to look for a woman to like, oh, my mom makes my father happy, not a lot of stressed out, whatever. And see that's something that is needed. And then from the girl's side, she's like, okay, it'll be the same thing. Oh, I see what kind of man I'm looking for, somebody who will help be a provider for if we have kids and stuff like that, and also to see what a woman who is good, how she's being treated by a guy who respects her. That all that is a works out in society to make society a better way. But we're breaking that down because also in that what we believe in, they stated that they want to have they stated that they wanted to think what I was gonna say. Family, not a village. See, without the text up, they also said they wanted to they don't want it not they don't want they want to get rid of patriarchy. That's what it was. I'm without having the text in front of me, I apologize. But they said they wanted to have patriarchy. They want to get rid of patriarchy. Well, I'll be 100% with you with anybody in America, in a black community, or which is basically a nomenclature. It's not really nothing, but in majority of black households in America, and now that we have this is 2020, where you're gonna have more census data, we don't have a patriarchy. We have a matriarchy. Big Mama does everything. Like, you know, there's barely any granddaddy or whatever. It's mostly Big Mama doing everything, or mom or whatever. We don't have a lot of that. So I have mad respects and props for a lot of the black couples who get married, or if they're not married, but at least have a really good relationship and co-parent with their kids that they create. I will always be for that, and not only for black people, but for majority of people, Hispanic, Asian, everything else. But the problem is most other cultures or most other ethnicity, they don't have the problem in America as much as that. Is there a lot of unwed white mothers out there? Yes, but the rate, which is a problem, but the rate is still lower than blacks, which is very sad. Back in the 60s, blacks was at 20. We were lower than whites. We were I think 20 to 15%, and whites were higher than us. And now we're at 74%. So that's not good. So I don't like I said, you can watch the video when you come back to the channel, Project Open Mic on YouTube, and here we read Black Lives Matter, what they believe in and what's their mission statement. You guys back?
Yeah, we're back. We're here. Never left.
Okay. Well, I went through a whole monologue right there. Nobody said nothing, so I can't tell, sir. I'm not a mind reader.
Can you hear Tissa?
Okay, you. I can hear you, Ken. I cannot hear your wife.
Yeah, she was just active a while ago. She's still on here, but I think she's having mic problems still.
That's fine. I'll just use yours. It's cool.
Okay.
Go ahead. Put it on. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. All right. Sorry about that.
No, this is all the stuff we're trying to work out, my dear. We're trying to, I apologize for anything. Like I said, this is just off the, like I said, trying to introduce the crew. Like I said, we are grassroots. We're starting from scratch with a lot of stuff. We'll get to the production levels where we need to be. But hey, it takes time. So you say you guys were there. Did you hear what I was saying, or anything I was saying?
So we actually were able to hear what you were saying, and I can agree to a certain extent.
Okay.
So when it comes down to where we are as a people in society right now, that moral compass that was instilled in us back in the day for our parents and our parents' parents, it's not there. And I think that is the most tragic part where we are right now. And it's that history that is no longer being passed down. It's those conversations that are no longer being had. It's babies raising babies at this particular point, and kind of just become lost as a culture. Not that we can't find our way back. However, we are currently lost. And I think things like what's going on now, when it comes down to the tragic situations of African American men being targeted and being killed, of course, that's nothing new under the sun. However, it's very shocking when these things happen. And for some, even in the African American culture, it's a brand new thing to them. And that just simply shines a light on the fact that we don't even know who we are as a culture. And that's heartbreaking. Because it shouldn't take these tragic times for people to know and understand who they are and where they came from.
I got you. Well, again, and that's why I say that's why this is called open mic. Yeah. So I understand where you're coming from. I think I agree with you on the that we don't have the okay. which I didn't start it at the beginning of the show, which I will always do, but in last show it did. I'll always state this: I don't speak for Black people, and Black people do not speak for me. I'm an individualist all the way when it comes to a lot of stuff.
Right.
But I agree with you because we don't have a spiritual or a center no more. And going to what you're talking about, the parents, babies are raising babies, they're not telling kids what it is, because when I'll give you an example, and you're part of this because you're part of the gaming community, tangentially, that's how we all met up. But the gaming or movies, like when I see Black young people, and I get it because they're not passing it on, you are correct too. But when I see Black young people talking about we never had Black this, or females, like we never had a female lead actor and all stuff, we had decades of it. We always had it. It's just now you don't see it as much because of certain things. I'll keep to that point right now, but we had it there. We had Mabel, sad as it is, how this got spun. You had your Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Cosby Show, Family Matters, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Yeah. We had our shows, even going back to I Spy, and I forgot the guy who had who was part of the Rat Pack, Sammy Davis. Like you had Red Fox, of course, Sanford and Son. You had those shows,
right?
But they're like, oh, we never had those shows because all they see is Love and Hip Hop, all this stuff that I would never share my kids to, ever. So my point is, they never know. Like if I don't, like all of us here don't have kids. Hopefully, we're planning for the future. But I am gonna teach my kids to say, they're like, I have as bad as how Bill Cosby's legacy has been tarnished on his side and to the public. It's both people that did this, but I still have Cosby shows, and I'm gonna play them for my kids. I still have I recorded these things to keep it. Like right now, you have Looney Tunes where I grew up in. I grew up watching Looney Tunes. Now they're taking Elmer Fudd's gun, but they're giving him a scythe and die. I'm like, what sense does that make? Who is that for?
Right.
You're changing and what's going on too. A lot of these young people, because like you said, they don't have no center or nobody passing on these stuff to them. They're destroying their own history. Because like they're destroying. Okay, example would be they're taking away. They're saying Gone with the Wind with HBO Max. They say we're gonna stop Gone for the Wind because even though it was with inflation, it's the best-selling movie, box office movie with inflation. But you take it away that. But you also take it away because it was about slavery in the South and everything. I get that. But you know what you take it away too? I forgot her name. I apologize for that because again, I wasn't set up for what I normally would be. But there was a Black female in there who was the first female to win an Oscar for supporting actress. So you take away that first person who broke grounds for something.
But you know what though? Back to your point with today's content, and of course, for example, Looney Tunes. And Tissa brought this. She mentioned this, I think, maybe a couple of days ago. She said it's so ironic how they are trying to censor the likes of Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, as you said it, and all these other cartoons. Yet Family Guy and Simpsons can keep all their same content uncensored. Nothing changes. But these cartoons that were 30, 40 years old, they're too offensive. But yeah, you go watch Family Guy or American Dad or any of these cartoons, which I love, by the way. But even still, I can admit that this stuff is a little bit. Kids shouldn't listen to this. And even another show that's on Netflix, I'm not sure if you heard of it, called Big Mouth.
Yeah, I know about it. I just don't watch it.
Yeah,
I know about it.
But if you've seen that show, you're thinking this show is okay. But showing the Black lady in Tom and Jerry, that
is racist.
It is terrible. Or as you said, switching out Elmer Fudd's shotgun for a scythe.
Well, it's not only that. Remember, they got rid of Speedy Gonzalez because they said is a stereotype, which is weird. Speedy Gonzalez was a hero, and they also and his cousin Slowpoke because he drank. Because he drank. I know a couple Mexicans. They drink. Corona is a beer that's from there. You Cinco de Mayo people. Tequila. Come on.
Yeah, I think it's very ironic, and as you said, back then, I would even go so far as to say, less than 20 years ago, we had the likes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, Family Matters,
Yeah.
who Hey with Mr. Cooper, Homeboys, Out
Living
of Space,
Singles.
all these shows. And today, if I was to ask anyone, what's the positive show? I won't even say black show. What's the positive show right now that you can watch that's about positivity? I can't really name one.
Not off the top of my
I'm
head.
I'm sure there is one at least, but back then that was a common thing. There was no show just about drama unless you were just watching soap operas every day.
Well, it's not only that. Remember, we didn't have the internet back in those days. Majority, really, we didn't. So we didn't have that outside influence of that because right now everybody really goes towards more of what's popular. That's why you get that's why you have all with the meme culture we have now. We have all the memes. Everybody shares these memes from these shows, whatever, but they don't even know what the show is about. They get these 10 seconds clip of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air doing something crazy. I'm like, oh, Will Smith had a sitcom? I didn't know that. Which was about a black family, just like Family Matters. Like in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you had a couple episodes that talked about, racism and everything, but it wasn't even to the extent of trying to push it in your face. It was a teaching moment like, hey, you're individual, do what it is. We don't have that no more. They're blatantly pushing that stuff down your throats.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because Family Matters had a couple episodes too, but majority of the show was comedy and being a family.
Right.
That's what the shows were about. We don't have that no more. Hell, look at again Cosby, the Cosby Show. You had Phylicia Rashad, a lawyer, Cosby, a doctor, had 3 kids, had different problems going through it, but did you see anything overbearing, pushing down your throat? No, it was just like, hey, there's a family dynamic. Hey, we have problems sometimes, but let's show what it was. Because everybody remember back in the Cosby, like how Mrs. Huxtable was. She reflected a little bit of your mom. Like, yeah, I don't want to mess with mom. She, no. Yeah. And Cosby, as a clown, he was in the show. He was like, he used to be like, like with Rudy and everybody that come here, like, no, here. Like, he was a steadfast father.
Right.
So we don't have this, as you said, Tess. We don't have the central setup, and the problem with America is becoming more what's the word? Away from religion. And again, religion is not the answer. I'm not saying that, but we are human beings. We take away if we don't have something that we revere or fear. And when I mean fear, I'm not talking about the definition of fear of scared of. Have respect for, like how people use it in context of religion. When you don't have that, you're gonna find something else to fill that gap. And it's in what we see from what I'm seeing right now, it's not good.
I think there's a lot of people that's just looking for direction, not even just in the black culture. I think everybody now is searching for something.
You're correct.
They're searching for something, like you said, and nobody knows what it is. But I think that without talking too much about, I know you talked about it on your last show, and everybody is talking about it. Everybody has something to say about it. But where I am with it right now as an
Mhm.
African American woman, my husband
Mhm.
is an African American male. Where I stand when it comes down to it, it's about moving forward. Where do we go from here? Now that we've talked about it, now that we've protested, now that we've had riots, excuse me, now that we've gone through the many, how should I say, the many emotional stages of
Mhm.
what has happened with this tragedy of someone losing their life. Now, where do we
Mhm.
go? And this is the part that is always interesting to me because you'll have everybody show up in the beginning when it comes down to just the emotional involvement, but not too many stick around when it's time to make the real change.
Oh, to clean up and you like you know you come,
Absolutely.
you make a mess, time to clean up. Let's clean up, everybody. You do this, you do this, you do this.
Right.
Let's make sure how to not get this problem again. You are correct
Absolutely. The posts start to
because
slow down, the comments
mhm.
start to slow down, people just kind of fade. And then it's like, okay, well, where are you at now? And that's where I am with it. We know what happened. People went out and did what they felt they needed to do to express themselves
Mhm.
however they feel they needed to express themselves. And I'm not going to say one way was better than another because even our history shows you had people who came, their way of dealing with the situation was peaceful, but you also had radical people in history, not just in the African American culture but all through our history. People did
Yeah.
what they felt like they needed to do when they weren't heard, when they felt like they really needed to make some noise and ruffle some feathers and get things done. However, the difference between then and now is the aftermath. So people were prepared for whatever came with whatever emotional outburst they had. People were prepared. They were in it for the long haul. Now you have people that just want to piggyback. Nobody wants to do research. Nobody wants to stay and be a part of the solution. They want to pinpoint a problem that they don't want to stay to fix.
Another thing is also a lot of people. In some cases, this does not work. In a few cases, it does. But also another thing is we're gonna press you. I'm gonna just give you money just to shut you up.
Right.
That's another thing they do. I don't like. That's that's why the video that's going up tomorrow about Black Lives Matter. Like I said, I agree. There's some things in that I do agree with. Majority I don't, but I line item everything I need to line item out of it because I gotta know what you're gonna do with certain things. And the reason I did that video with Addison and Trip is because I didn't know what the organization really means from. Hey, Black Lives Matter, been thrown into my face all the time, saying stuff. Okay, all right. You know what? Let me, as you just said, do the research. What does this mean? Went to the site, read the thing, and I was like, huh. Well, I don't agree with majority of that stuff, so hey, it is where it is. But and the reason I started because I'm seeing all these celebrities giving $1 million here, $1 million here. You got other cultures, Japan. We get $1 million to Black Lives Matter. This organization is getting hundreds of millions of dollars. What are they gonna do with it? That's what I
Right.
want to know.
Absolutely. And Ken and I actually talked about that the other day. Where is it going?
Thank you.
What is
That's
it?
why. And that's what.
Right.
Go ahead.
If
Go ahead. Go.
money is
Sorry.
being raised and it's just sitting somewhere for people to push their own agendas and do whatever they want to do with it, they're still not helping the community. Because I know communities in our areas, African American communities, and I know all over the United States, period, that can use that funding to fix the damage that's already happening in the community. So here's the thing, when you are isolated in a certain area and there is no growth, you're not going to invest anything in that area, which is why you have a collection of people that are stuck in their ways and they don't want to change. Take care of what?
True.
Build up what? Oh, well, if you take care of your streets, then, the city will give you money. Take care of what? It's beyond, there are cities that are beyond repair. And let's not even talk about the education system where these children are going to school not even having condiments for their lunches. I know children now in these same communities don't have condiments for their lunches. Milk could be old, mold in the ceiling. You go into the gymnasium, the bleachers don't work. I mean, it's completely destroyed. So where is that money then? If the lives are mattering so much, where's that money then? And I'm not saying Black lives don't matter. And I feel that they do. I feel like all lives matter, but Black lives right now is the focus just because of what is going on. And I stand with that. However, it's the behind the scenes stuff that's not happening that brings me pause. I feel like right now everyone is rallying for a cause and they really don't understand what they're rallying for. I can say that I'm rallying for the fact that, hey, you know what? I want to know that if my husband steps out the door, that he's coming back the same way he left. I want to know when my father walks out the door that he's coming back in the same way he left. Same with my brothers and uncles and cousins. That's where I stand with it. So when I say Black Lives Matter, that's what it means to me. However, as an organization, are they really standing for what I'm standing for? But you don't know that unless you do the research. Everybody's piggybacking off of, which is why we keep going in these circles. Years ago, we did the same thing where people came out, they protested, and it was amazing. It was an amazing sight to see. However, what should have happened after that, the fire that it should have sparked then, it just kind of slowly died out. And my fear is that's the same thing that's going to happen now. To get so far and to lose the traction would be a terrible thing for not just our culture, but just for society in general. That we are people that are not about seeing things through. And I'm not just talking about African Americans, but that seems to be the case. We've become a microwave society where we want things right now. We got to have it, don't want to wait, don't want to do research. However, to the detriment of ourselves, even though we can see this in some cases, we still continue to have that mindset, this microwave mindset of how we feel like we don't have to put in work. We feel entitled. And that is what is causing us to not be as successful when it comes down to changing things that are destroying us as a people. And not just African American people, but just us as a people.
As a people. Okay. And you know what? And okay, so and that's why I say I have Project Open Mic again, just repeat it. It's gonna be said multiple times. Okay, because you brought up something there that I understand. What you're talking about that, yeah. Saying the Black Lives Matter, because the people who are shouting that and on the streets and everything, God bless you. I mean, if you're peacefully protesting, you're doing that, I have no problem. And again, nobody has. It's funny how people they try to divide everything. Nobody has a problem with the peaceful protest. Nobody. But when you start doing criminal activities, we got to separate that. I'm just saying. That's one. Two, as you said that and that's what you believe in. That's about you want Ken to come back home. You want your father's just your brother. I get that, and that's what I said. I'd rather have people say their opinions because not everybody going. One thing about Project Open Mic that I'm saying up is we're not going to agree 100%, but we are good enough people to know that hey, I know that Ken and Tessa are good people. I ain't gonna worry about it. I don't care who they vote for. I don't whatever because I always have a problem when people's like, oh, you voted for this person, and we'll get, like I said, not this show, we'll get into other shows that has it, but you voted for this person. So wait a minute, because I voted for that person, it took away the 10, 20 years of good I know between you. One vote did that. That's crazy. That's stupid in my opinion. That would do that. I myself, coming from a different country, come to America. To be honest with you, is like I said, Tessa just put you basically said out like you said with your husband and your father and everything. I don't have that fear because when I look at the numbers in my situation, now I am a person who have been pulled over for driving while black. I'm not gonna deny it. Most people have. I'm not gonna say I did, but I also was in an incident where a cop had a gun point blank at my head. But you know what? I did not do anything irrational. I didn't do nothing stupid. I obeyed whatever. So because I'm here today because of that. And when I see this, the statistics, if you believe them or not, because I know people are always gonna go with all this stuff. But the thing is, the point is, if I carry myself in a certain way, and I don't put myself in certain situations majority of the times. It is the one time where, because a friend, not friend, I'm not gonna lie on that. A coworker said, "Well, what happened if that cop had shot you?" I'm like, "Well, the cop had shot me. You know, I could have done at that point, other than obey what he says and do what it was, which I did, and I walked away from it." Was it scary? Hell yeah! I never had a gun put point blank at my head. I mean, I literally saw the barrel of the gun. But I didn't do nothing stupid. I didn't talk back. I didn't, and I've seen videos where people are like, "Oh, you're gonna have to have the talk with your children about them." Like, you're supposed to do that as a parent, no matter if you're black or white or Hispanic or whatever. You're supposed to do that. The old saying, judge by 12 better than carried by 6. You it's less than 0.03% if you don't do certain things that you will die from really from a cop or from in bad situations. But I do not want to raise that choice no higher by doing anything stupid, disobeying, struggling, whatever. I literally, when he, like I said, did everything the cop said, and I'm still here. There are people out there, and I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen. There are people out there who did everything the cops said and still not here today as well,
Right.
too. But that number is small, and I am with the reason I'm with people saying about this. I'm going to change certain things with the whole thing about, okay, we want what I say, I want police brutality against black. Okay, I want bad cops, period, to be taken care of.
Right.
Not just that against black or accountable. Yes, I don't want it just to be just white against black,
Right.
or Hispanic against. I don't want that transgression. I want bad cops as best as they can. Get rid of them. I said already in my last show that I was on this listening to this program when they had all these cops, head cops of these big metropolitan cities, and every one of them said about 20 to 25% of cops should not be cops, and half of that is because you can't fire them because of political and also the unions. You can't get rid of them. So they also are strong. Their hands are also tied behind the back because there are cops that have bad things. That cop who did that to George Floyd, he should have been fired. But unions are strong now, and they I'll give a great example. The cop who did not do nothing, who was the lead cop in Florida when he had the shooting in school, the worst mass shooting in school history in Florida, he got fired. He did hot stuff that he should have. If he didn't want to go to jail, but he should lose everything. But he just got reinstated, his pension and his back pay. This ain't gonna do nothing with black cops. I mean, a white cop to a black. This is a cop who didn't do nothing to save kids.
Right.
And he got everything back. So when I go Black Lives Matter, I get it. I have that, but I want the whole cop, because again, the people I was thinking, we want to stop the cop, like they are bad. As I don't know if you ever heard it, Tessa, but I have a saying, basically, evil comes in all shapes, sizes, creed, occupation. I do a list of, because it's evil. They're bad. There are bad doctors out there, evil doctors who do horrible things. They're evil teachers. They're even evil priests, as we could see with Catholics with the Vatican, with how they let these archbishops and priests rape these little boys. What? And then sweep it underneath the rug. Evil's evil. So it's something that if people, and going to what you're saying, that they don't do the research. There are some people who are pushing them. Oh, what happened to Camden, New Jersey? They got rid of their cops. Did you read the whole story? they got rid of the cops because they wanted to get rid of the union. They got rid of the union, rehired all the cops. It was a lower pay, but you know what? They got more cops in to help. In other words, they brought in more cops to take care of the area, and then the crime went down because there was more cops. But because the union wasn't there to have fixed the taxpayer paying them too much money, and that you couldn't fire whatever, that's what happened. Now, the sad end of the story again, because again, people don't do the full research. Because I went and saw that, then I said, "What's the Camden police doing now?" Well, of course, everything worked out great. Then they went back to the union again. So it's gonna, a couple years from now, I bet you're gonna hear the same thing again.
So let me ask you a question. I know you have made mention about your encounter with the police. And I think conversations like this, like what we're having now, I think it's important because everybody's interaction is always going to be different.
That is true.
So your interaction, based on what you did, you feel like that's the reason that you're here today. And that very well, of course, could be it. But as you also mentioned, that there are people who did the same and their fate was completely different. But I think no matter how low the percentage, I think it's still something that is important to address.
No, it's important to address, but one of my stance of when I'm from small and looking at things is you can't get 100%. You just ain't
True.
gonna. We could if we could get that 98% of cops interaction with every race is good and there's no police brutality, let's try to achieve that. But you're going to have situational things that's just gonna get out of hand. Like right now, everybody's saying, okay, the chokehold. I get it. I'm not denying that. My point is, once you're in the cop's possession, once you're handcuffed, once you're restrained, anything after that is police brutality, unless he's to get you into the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there are times where certain people know what they could do, and the cop. I've seen. Maybe you didn't see this video. I did a video montage of how cops get killed in cases where they say, okay, we're gonna let this woman go, blah blah blah, and she shot him, took his gun and shot him. Like, they're gonna have that situation. It's a dangerous job, point blank. But until they get you restrained, if I was in a cop spot, if I have to arrest you, I'd rather get as best as I can. I'm not a chokehold and everything. I get that. I'm just saying, but there are some people who will, pop off at cops just because they think they could get away with it. And also, we got to remember this too. We have a bad problem with mental health in this country.
Yes.
And what do a lot of people do when their cousin, their uncle, whatever, is acting crazy? They call the cops. How me as a cop coming into this thinking, okay, this guy's innocent, but he's swinging at his wife with a knife. I know he's crazy, mentally wrong, and he don't mean it, but how am I gonna put him down?
Yeah.
I literally see, and this is my eyes again. This is anecdotal evidence, of course, but I've seen a guy who was hawked. He's a nice guy, but he got messed up on some drugs, and he's like one of them bodybuilder crazy guys, and he's a gentle giant. But when he was on that stuff, man, he broke the handcuffs. And he was going crazy, doing horrible stuff. And after that, I met him. Of course, like I said, I know the guy. A couple, he was like, "Oh man, I didn't know I did that," or that, blah blah blah. But as a cop, and again, all the situation is different.
Right.
So I am with you that yes, we should talk. The point is about it. What you said is 100% correct. Let's talk about it and have a conversation about it. And if he did anything wrong, let that cop be responsible for what he did or she did.
Right.
But we basically generally blanket and not have, because we're not gonna stop racism. I love how people are talking about, you can stop. No, can we fight so it don't be as bad as it needs to be? Yes, but You're not. Racism is a part of tribalism, and it's in our human nature to do it. Sad, but it's true. I'm sorry. If I walk down the street, I see a white guy walking with his pants sagging, whatever, I'm gonna go across the street just as much as a black or Hispanic with a foot with all kind of tattoos. I just don't want a confrontation. It's my perceived preservation of my body to like, you know what? I don't even want that problem.
Right.
So yeah, I am with you. We need to have the conversation. But another thing that's happening right now, which is sad, and this has happened over the history of things. Every time that we're gonna get something good, including for the black community, that's why my first show is called Control Chaos. Somebody comes in there and makes it worse. They always hijack it. They always hijack positive stuff.
Right. I agree.
And it's sad people don't see it. It's sad to see people don't do it because why was certain white people, Antifa, bringing in pallets of bricks to give to black kids? Why? Because they wanted to cause trouble. Why were kids going and going to what you were saying, Tessa, before about the neighborhoods and stuff? It is sad, but again, as a business, yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about as well too, because there are a lot of places that got looted, destroyed, whatever, they're not gonna be back. They said themselves, we're pulling out of the community, and then you're gonna hear, well, we're living in a food desert. Yeah, because you broke stuff, and a lot of people say, "But you worry about human lives. They have insurance." I read the statistics already from the Department of Business Bureau. 45% of black owners under 250,000 who making money or 250,000 profits or whatever you want to call it, for that, they only 45% of black owned businesses have insurance. That means 65% doesn't.
Right, and that's no different than auto insurance.
It's no different, but it's different in most cases. Not all the way, but the reason I said that because I'm gonna give for white business owners it's 55%. So that means you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So
No. I'm definitely agreeing with you. I'm saying it's the same as the number of people in the states that don't have insurance. Yeah, it's a huge misconception. So I agree with you. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, this was nationwide. This is the federal numbers. Right. That's why I was doing that. And the thing that came about it is also those who have insurance. Now, this they didn't give it the number of, but I do know some small business owners. They might just have insurance on the building, not the product. There are only a few of them that have insurance on the product that's in their stores and their building. Like you said, if there's a black guy who owns a body shop, he would mostly, if he has insurance, he has for the jack, because liability, the jacks, the car stands, all that stuff. He has insurance for all that. But if you have a store with clothing, they're not going to insure your clothing. They insure the store.
Right.
So that misconception is also a thing that I don't like to hear when people say that, because as you said, they don't know the research, so they just think, oh, well, it's just clothes or whatever. That's also it's not a life. Well, technically speaking, that is that person's life. If they spend all their money to put into that business and that's how they feed their family, ain't it that their life?
Right. True. Very true.
So you have a lot of misconceptions on a lot of things, and it's not helping the cause. It really is. And that's why in the last show, you heard me say when somebody was like, oh, I could forgive Al Sharpton and all that stuff. Okay. He did a good preaching and praying and everything at the thing. I am not an Al Sharpton fan by any stretch of the imagination. I called it as I see it. I'm not going to whatever. But I still don't like that he said, hey, we should watch what business we're burning down. We should only burn down other races and not black. Again, you don't know. That's why I played a clip with the black lady, because she was a corner with a white man hiring black people, or a white man who hired black people. You don't know.
Right. And that's where I feel like for us, and I can't talk about other cultures, however, I can talk about mine. Mm-hmm. That is where I feel like we struggle the most. We have so many people that say they represent us, but they never talk to us. There's never been a conversation that's had about what are the things that dramatically affect us, the things that we want to see change. Like, there's never been that conversation, but they'll have the audacity to stand in the forefront and say, well, I represent this large mass of people, this entire culture, and they don't speak for me because their values are not my values. Their views are not my views. And I'm not saying they have to be 100%. However, have a conversation. And that's what we're lacking. There's no conversation. There's no objective perspective. It's either you agree with what I'm saying 100%, or I don't want to hear what you have to say. But then that in itself is also extremely damaging. You can't move forward like that because there's nobody that's going to agree 100% with what you're saying. But if at least we can come down to a solid foundation of what the goal is that we're trying to reach, it's a million different ways to reach a goal. And that is a fact. It's not just one way. But I feel like the lack of knowledge really hinders us. And that's on all areas. And it's not that the knowledge isn't out there. As you said back in the day, we didn't have internet. We didn't have the opportunity to gain the knowledge that we have now. Ancestors weren't able to read or go to school, and all of those things that they fought for that we have at our disposal now, we rarely use. We rarely use. At least rarely use them to the magnitude. And not everyone, but we don't use the things that we have. But we have the audacity to demand more. Well, how do you do that? How do you do that? It's very important for us to know who we are as individuals before we can even understand who we are as a culture. And to say, or to stand in front of the world and say, hey, I demand that you treat me this way. I demand that you see me this way. Then for us to get the platform to say, okay, so what is it that you want to do? Tell me about yourself. And we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. We're not organized. And we should be, especially when we're demanding the attention of the entire world. We need to know what we want. We need to know where we're going with this. And if we don't have that, there's definitely conversations that need to be had collectively across the board.
Yeah. And in that regard, SK, you know, we had a conversation. You said, I mean, you sent videos to my phone last time. Send that about the cops doing that, and also it still proves my point of they're bad cops. That's the whole point. If a cops was giving stacks to whatever, then mostly I could guarantee most of the time, because I've seen this where the unions pretend to be antagonizers so the cops could look good. That's my point. That is literally my point still. And also at the beginning with the protests, everybody everybody was cool with that. But when it turns into riots and stuff, then yeah, the lines got blurred and they don't care for your protests. That's what happened. The line got blurred. There are people who will say, "Oh, we peacefully protest." I can show you videos of people who was going down the street at nighttime. Yeah, we peacefully protested, and people break out and start doing horrible stuff. It's just the problem is we just gotta separate as it is. Nobody. That's why I said nobody really got against the peaceful protests, but it got blurred. Lines got blurred quickly.
And just like, and to piggyback on what my wife said, that we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the information. And I mentioned this to her sometime last week. I said the problem is, as you mentioned earlier, what we see, what we see in the news, we make a big fuss out of it, but that doesn't mean that it happens 50% of the time. As you said, it's a very low percentage, but since that's what we see on social media news, it makes it seem as though it happens all the time. And it only happens to us when it actually happens to other people of other cultures and races. But the thing I mentioned to her is that I think that one of the biggest problems is that we are quick with our knee-jerk reactions without any information. So, for example, let's say right now I'm walking down the street and I look up just out of nowhere. Something says you look up, and I see a cop pull you over. Now I'm about 50 yards away. I can't hear this conversation. I don't know what's been said to you. I don't even know why you've been pulled over. All I know is I've seen a cop pull you over. And then all of a sudden, I pull out my phone because I see the cop ask you to get I see you get out your car. Now I'm not sure if he asked you to get out or if you got out for whatever reason, whatever personal reasons, but you get out your car. Now I'm recording my phone, and then while I'm recording, my own mind is running. See, look at that. It's a white cop putting up a black guy. That's racism. It really could be. Maybe you know the guy. Maybe he figured he knew you. But all I see on my phone while I'm recording is a white cop put over a black guy, and I didn't see him do anything wrong. And I upload it to social media, and people run with it. No one asks me questions. No one waits till the details come out. They go by what I said or what I posted when I uploaded my video. And there you have a nationwide outbreak of look at this racism. When it could just be you got pulled over. Maybe he pulled you up because, hey, you know what? I noticed your tail lights out. I'm not going to write you a ticket. Just let you know this is dangerous. But we don't know what was said or why. But people run with it. And that knee-jerk reaction is what leads to I mean, of course, nothing's wrong with a peaceful protest, but then that leads to people rioting. Everyone gets on social media and spits their 2 cents for the 15 seconds of fame, whether they mean it or not. And next you know, everyone's in uproar and they're responding to an incomplete scenario which they don't have all the information for it. And then a week later, information comes out. Oh, well, guess what? We found out that the guy was drunk or the guy was high, or yeah, guess what? He did have a warrant. Then now people are that were saying, "Oh, it's racism," that are quiet.
And that's why Al Sharpton gets a lot. That's the part about him I do not like. No, that's the part I don't like because again, the thing that happened with the Duke lacrosse team, when you come to find out, and again, it was a black female. She lied under pressure from the district attorney in North Carolina. Did Al Sharpton apologize to those guys who he ruined their lives with? No. He didn't come and say, "Oh wow, that's messed up. Let's apologize for that." No. The narrative still stands. These guys can get jobs,
and
it's almost like you said. I give an example. On the flip side, made no difference. I am going to talk about this because men, I don't know. We really got to teach these boys certain things. Holy crap! But they don't have no father figures, so that's the problem. That's not only it's more problem in black people than any other race per se. But my goodness, the thing with the Central Park 5, yes, was it bad judgment on them boys? Hell yes. But they did not rape the woman and all that confusion. And of course, everybody made assumptions and made mistakes. But it was a consensual, I don't know how you consensual train on a female, but whatever that nonsense was. Because I'm sorry if somebody come to me and say, "Hey," and this is real talk. Like I said, if somebody tell me, "Hey, I'm gonna have sex with this female. She want to do a twosome or threesome," I'm like, no. If it's not me and her boss, no. Because she could say anything and it could be construed horribly. And it's gonna look good because it's one female versus 4 guys. Guys, if that ever happened, walk away. It's not worth it. That's crazy.
And see, another example I have is
go ahead.
And this actually happened to a coworker of mine years ago, but there was I guess a gathering or protest that happened. I think it was back maybe in 2015, 2016. And all of a sudden there was a shooter. Somehow shooting broke out in this gathering. And my coworker's cousin was hired to do security there. So he was actually there to guard the event. Well, when the shooting broke out and they saw this person with a gun, they assumed he was a shooter, therefore they arrested him. Now the media, of course, they do what they do. They went and broadcast that, oh yeah, they've allegedly apprehended one of the shooters of this gathering. Now, of course, this is a day later. Come to find out, he says, no, I'm working security. He proved he was security, that it was his rifle. He was there to protect the event. No one came out to apologize, no media outlet. And of course, I'm pretty sure he was getting death threats from people that thought he was there to ruin that experience. But guess what? The media, multiple news outlets, as I already said in the news, they've apprehended one of the shooters. Now, this person that was literally there to guard the event was blamed for something without anyone ever confirming it. But no one ever came back and apologized and say, we had the wrong guy. Now you just name through the mud basically in the media. Everyone's basically reacted on what the news has said without even verifying the news has done a proper investigation. Now these same people that probably sent them death threats are sitting here feeling stupid.
To a degree, because I'll give you an example that was recent and went crazy, and I'm gonna give you an example of what you were saying about the thing with the cop interaction and everything. The one example, of course, was Nick Sandmann. If you don't know who that name is, that is the kid who was at in Washington D.C. who had the the MAGA hat, and they're saying that he was saying, "Oh, look at this kid being a rude jerk to the Native American Indian, and and that's on the Washington Monument." Or wherever they were. I'm sorry, but I know what it was. So they took a little clip and saw that the kid was just smiling because he was like, I don't know what to do. Now, did it look like a eating grin or a grin that looked like he's smug? I'm not gonna say it did, because again, there are people out there who have what we call it, bitch, what do you call it? Where their face looks numb, but they look like they're angry, and they're like, I'm not angry. That's just how my face look when I'm like, whatever. Restless bitch face. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm just saying. And the kid didn't look that. But here's the thing, though. When you go back and you watch the whole video, the kid did not a thing wrong. If that were my son, I would be proud of him for doing what he did, because he didn't do nothing wrong. And there's even part where when one of the students was gonna say something, he's saying, no, don't say nothing. Do not say nothing. That's the only thing he said. Don't say nothing, because he know cameras was on him. Smart kid. Now CNN, of course, settled out, but at the time, everybody was like, "I want to put these kids in the wood chipper." Like, kids, they were saying all horrible stuff about the kid. Put it, like, I was like, yeah. But when you get the full video, he did not do anything wrong. In my opinion, it was facts. You see the video, you see like, wow, he got thrown under the bus for just sitting there and just smiling. Nothing, that's crazy. And then the other example I want to use, and I used it with my friend SK, and I talked about it because, again, people are like, oh, we shouldn't be profiling. I'm sorry, it's a part of human nature. I don't know. People think, there's a lot of people, and I'm sad to say this, there's a lot of people who think they could turn off certain things in your nature, and some you can. But sometimes doing that will cost you your life. Like the two people who went to who said there's no evil in the world, and went bike riding into a Tajikistan and found out, oh, they were evil, because they got their head cut off. Some will tell you not to go to an ISIS territory, but because you turned that part of your brain off, okay, now your brain is not attached to your body no more. But the point I was talking about, he was saying, when you profile and everything, there's a video which I will show on this channel. Again, I have tons of video stuff I'm gonna put on this channel and other stuff. There's a black lady. She has kids in the car. I'm giving the short version. Black lady has kids in the car. She's driving on a suspended license. Not 1 month or I just found out, a long time. Suspended license. Speeding. I never understand that. If you know you don't got a thing, why would you drive this past the speed limit? That's stupid. But again, speeding. She got pulled over, white cop. He gives her, because it's on the dash cam, and you can hear all the audio. He gives her every single chance. She drove away from the scene. He caught up with her, pulled over again, and he's like, "Get out of the car because you're running away," which is that you're on flight list. And she's like, "No, my kids and everything." And he's like, "Okay, you know what? All right, look, stay here. We don't want no trouble, right? Do not move." And he's giving her all the chances. She did it again. She drove off. You're gonna tell him, and then of course she drove off, running through traffic, running red lights and everything. Now let me get this straight. That cop could be a saint of a cop. Hopefully he is, but you ain't gonna tell me his mind ain't changed when he said, "Wait, I give you all the chances and you still threw it back in my face." You don't tell me his mind ain't gonna change a little bit. You cannot tell me, because it would change my mind. I'm gonna look at the next situation differently. Is it the same person? No, but I'm gonna be cautious because you could take off, run over my foot, run me over. I don't know. So that's an example again. Because if you looked at the news after that thing, they were like, "Oh, this cop harassing this," and the thing about it is, they made the cop who was good. They said he's harassing this black woman. Like, he gave her every chance. Every chance, man. It's about 45 minutes video. I watched the whole 45-minute video and I'm like, that's sad. So that goes to what you're saying, Ken. And now you could post everything so quick with the internet and everything. You create a narrative, as the old saying go, "Lie could go around the world while the truth has it just is putting on their shoes."
That's true.
So it's a conversation. We're not gonna get 100%, but we don't want to get 0. We want to get a majority of things are gray area. Majority of it's gray area. And to what you were saying, Tessa, yes, let's have the conversation. Let's see what we could do. Let's see if these cops if you can't fight bad cops, let's disband the union. Let's start over with that. If we have training and stuff, let's go with the certain cops. Like there's things we can do.
Right.
And I hope those conversations get that. Right now, we're seeing a lot of the politicians making these laws and saying this stuff. The problem I have with that, and this is for left, Republican and Democrat, whatever. I hate this to my degree. There's one politician who was black, Herman Cain. He got this reward or whatever. A lot of people don't like him, whatever. Okay, here's one thing that he said, and even Jon Stewart, which I have respect for Jon Stewart. I don't agree on everything, but I do have respect for him for what it is. But he made jokes about it. Herman Cain said something that everybody mocked, Republicans and Democrats. Why can't we make a clean bill? Every time you make up a bill and you put a nice fancy name to it, there's a bunch of crap in there that makes things worse. But they put up good stuff and say, "Hey, this is the Give Your Grandma Money Act." Then they say, "Well, we're taking $10,000 from your grandma when she died," and all. You don't even know. Most people don't read these bills. If you want to do something good, it should be a clean bill. Hey, 3 pages. We should have it like example, the stimulus check. At the beginning, I was for it, but when I saw the pig pork was going in, I said I was against it. I'm like, hey, we shut you down. We're gonna give you, hey, companies, we're gonna give you this. It should be no more than 3 pages. It really shouldn't. Not 1,400 pages. When Hurricane Sandy happened in New York, everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna give the bill is the Sandy Act. We're gonna give that." 52. I swear it gotta be million. That's my fault. I don't want to miss 50. I'm gonna go to the lower end just in case. It was $54 million was allocated to help New Jersey and New York. Only $2 million went towards those states. Everything, the rest 52 went to other states. So that goes to what you were saying, Tessa, with the whole money. Where did this money go?
Right.
We see the big number, but then we don't see how the number spreads out. That's why when I raise money, again, when I rose money to help people in the Caribbean when the hurricanes happen, I made my best effort to tell them, hey, I want receipts on everything where this money was going. And I'm a small, simple person, not no big organization or nothing. I don't have an accountant or none of that stuff. I'm like, if I'm giving you $1 million, can you tell me where this money's going? Who's helping? What's going on? Any receipts? Because I don't want to, I don't want to just give you a blank check and you go have fun with it. No. I want to make sure, and I don't want to make sure that it's paying your staff. No, if you're paying your staff and your staff is doing work by helping people, okay. That's why I'm a proud supporter of Fisher House, because they 96%, 96 cents on the dollar goes towards the veterans. I am a proud sponsor of Fisher House. I've given them money over the years multiple times and raised money for that organization. Because I've talked to the organization owner, and I've seen what they do with the money. If you ain't doing that, I'm not giving you the money. I'm just telling you that right now. But you got all these celebrities just giving blank check. Here's $1 million. Here's $2 million. Here's $3 million for this. Okay, and like you said, Tessa, you're 100% correct. Where's the money going?
Where is it going? And nobody. The sad thing is, no one would ever really know. No. They would never really know. And if you really step back and you look at it just from a logical standpoint,
mm-hmm.
And I shared this with Ken, I think, a couple of days ago. How can you put monetary value on empathy?
Oh, wow.
If that is the root cause, being empathetic for one another, whether it's cultures, whatever the case may be, it's due to a lack of empathy when it comes down to people being able to operate and function together. And to say, well, I'm going to put monetary value to somebody learning how to communicate or somebody learning how to accept or agree to disagree. How can you do that? It's not realistic. And just thinking of it that way, you should ask yourself, okay, so where is this really going? Because it's not going towards any new training. Cops aren't having to go through any new training. There isn't anything that is being taught at the workplace, taught in schools to change mindsets. None of that is happening. So again, where is it really going? And as you stated before, it's so many things that overshadow the message and the positivity that things like this bring, the awareness that it brings. And when you get off in this tangent of, white cops and Black individuals, and yeah, all of that happens. However, that's just a small portion of the issue. And if you just focus on that small part, you're missing a whole other piece that is so important and precious, which is why you don't have as many people that can rally against the cause. I can't rally for something that I don't understand. And as we talked about before, everybody's interactions are different. And if it's not a platform that everyone can stand on together and at least have common ground, that's where the breakdown is. But we get lost on these bits and pieces, and everybody's pushing different agendas. And that's exactly where it stays. It stays lost. Which is why change for certain things, and it won't change, as you stated, 100%. That's why that change is slow to come. The power that we have, we don't own it because we don't know about it. I'm concerned about the education of my people. And when I say my people, not just the Black culture, those are my people, of course, to the core. But I'm talking about all people.
Well, like I've said before, my people is good people. I don't care what race you are. You good? You don't do horrible things? That's cool with me.
Right.
I don't care what race you are. And to what you're saying, there's a part with schools, like you said, majority of these money that goes to some of these school districts goes to administration and lawyers. They don't go to the kids.
Yeah.
They don't go to the teachers, because the teachers got to buy supplies for kids. When you see those stories, I'm like, why? You should have more than enough money. We're giving these per student capital. We're spending way more money than anything, but we still get less. Because I'm laughing at this is a joke I always said. It's crazy when you and Ken and me and majority of people who are around our age, when we were growing up, and I'm be honest, I guess I'm an honest person. To tell the truth, where we were cheating, you had to write it on your arm, had to write it on a piece of paper, hey, and you pad whatever. You literally have this thing right here is a computer with all the answers, and you guys can't even pass simple tests now. What? I could ask Google anything and have the answer,
Right.
and we're failing even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. It does not. And let's not even talk about how political education has become.
You're correct. Yeah. It has become.
And then that's a totally different.
Well, we'll have all these time,
but because it's so much involved with it. But yeah, it's so political. Sure. It's not about the kids. It's not.
No.
It's about the money. No. It's about it, and I can say that coming from education. I work for education, which is why I departed from education.
Well, I have video. Okay, I have a video of this teacher. This is disgusting. I want to say, but I'm gonna like you said. I'm gonna do videos about this as what you're talking about. I have a video of this teacher pleading with the council, and this funded and basically made the teacher came out good, but they said stuff afterwards. And but when she was giving examples, because Trip heard it, these are it's not only that parents are not raising their kids and then want the teachers to be teachers and parents, babysitters. That's the best way to say it. Babysitters. That's the best way to say it. Because there's some bad kids who go to school. They had a kid who, sorry, but I'm sorry again, I gotta be telling the truth, masturbated in a cup and poured his ejaculation on a girl's hair. What? And nobody does nothing up, like there's no discipline on the child who did that, which is crazy. And now we got parents now who are more indignant to be like, I know my kid, he don't do all this stuff. Okay, they have. It's on camera. Come on here. And I felt for that teacher. I felt for that teacher when she's laying out her heart on trying to do good stuff. But she, like you said, Tessa, she did the same thing too. She said, I quit.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah.
And that's a good teacher that's quit. But the other teacher who just want to take a check with the teachers union and staying there, can't fire them. They have teachers who've been, look at that professor who was going around in California hitting students with bike locks in their head. Can't fire him. But here's a joke. This happened just this week. A teacher teaching history tell his students to read Martin Luther King letters from the jail, from the Montgomery jail. Just because he has the N-word in there, and also because of what Martin Luther King was talking about, the students made a complaint and they fired the professor. So how can you learn about your history if every little thing you get hurt, your emotions get crazy?
Right.
It's a circle. It's not. This is a cabal. It's not even a simple. This is going to take lots of talk and whatever. Right. And for anybody who's listening from this show going forward, it's like, look, this is stuff where, yes, it's a community we could do stuff in a way, but it's individual. You got to look after yourself. Right. You really do.
And I agree.
You really do.
It is individual, and it starts at home. Like,
exactly.
It's so important for people to grasp that concept. Before I knew anything about the world, I learned a lot about it inside at home. And that's not to say, well, oh well, the dynamics of home are different for everybody. So I don't want to categorize it as the same as being, a husband and wife or whatever the case may be. I am for any healthy relationship raising children, any healthy relationship. So whatever that may be. I have family members who have raised amazing children. And when I say amazing, I'm talking about education, know who they are, not that school is everything. However, society will push this narrative as if fathers, particularly African American fathers, don't take care of their children. However, I know many scenarios where that's not true. Just like I know that there are single parent homes that are just moms that can raise productive sons to be great members of this society that go on to do great things. So I'm all for any healthy relationship, raising and bringing up children. But the problem is when you feel like you don't have to teach anything at home and you send them out in the world with an expectation that they're supposed to just somehow get this knowledge, become this great human being because you send them off to school or you send them off to go spend time with a certain group of people. Like, that's not how that works. We're lacking the personal responsibility. Now, that doesn't change what other people do out in the world, but there's a personal responsibility that we have to ourselves in our household. And we're not taking accountability of that. We're not teaching certain things to our children. As you said before, certain things that we're saying, oh, yeah, well, you got to teach your kids. You're like, okay, well, you should have been doing that. These are things that you should have been doing along the way. What happened? Why are you not? Everybody is so busy. Now, I understand if you are a single family home and you got to work and you got to do what you got to do to provide for your children, to provide for yourself, to make sure you got a roof over your head. That's where that community, that core from back in the day, because it didn't matter if your mom or your dad had 2 or 3 jobs, there was always somebody in the neighborhood that made sure your behind was in that house when you were supposed to, made sure things were done, made sure that kept you out of trouble. However, we've gotten away from that as a society because now it's well, don't tell my kids what to do and can't nobody say nothing to my kids. Da 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 da. Now you don't want anybody to say nothing to your kids, but you expect when something happens for now everybody to rally with you and stand with you. Now you want our help. Now you want our opinion, and you can't have it both ways. But it starts at home. That core piece should start at home. Teaching your children, because it's the people that come out in society now, they were taught that hatred somewhere. And this is not just black and white, any type of prejudice, period. That started at home. Where did you get that from if you don't have any type of interactions that you can personally speak on? Where does a child know at the age of, let's say, 8 to 12? What racial encounter have you experienced to where you can completely write off a culture? Where did that come from? That's passed down, and that's starting at home.
Yes.
And until we can attack that, I mean, anything outside of that, until we can get to the core, it's only penetrating so far.
Well, it's what you're saying. You have to be active in your kids' life.
Absolutely.
You had them. You had them. Even if you're in a public school, I'll be honest with anybody. My mom, and this is on Facebook as well too. So my dad said he did as best as he could, whatever. But my mom was a single mom. By the standards in America, and I mean standards by statistical number, there's no way me and my sister are outliers. We're outliers. Both college educated. Don't have never been in trouble. Don't have an arrest record or nothing. We don't have kids by nobody. We're in a middle class society. House the whole 9 yards. And I am thankful I got that far. But I also had a cousin who was a male figure to me, as I am a male figure to my sister. that she's like, okay, I keep her in check and whatever is best as well too.
And
And
just to lighten the mood a little bit, for anyone listening, I want to say this earlier, but I know you and my wife were trying to make a valid point about a serious topic. But that kid that masturbated and then poured in a girl's hair, I just want to say he was a real jerk off.
Really, really. That's disgusting. That is disgusting.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yes. We're gonna have corny jokes on these shows as well, people. We're gonna do that. But in that regard, like I said, like again, me and my sister, we went to public school, but my mom and my dad as well to point out to put us in private school. I'm gonna be doing the exact same thing as best as I can. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try my best to get my kid in a private school, and of course, being an active parent. If I can't, I have to be super active. Is in public school. Everybody has their own choices.
My wife and
That's what I'm doing.
We decided the same thing too. That we do want our kids to have the public school experience, but we don't want them to, we don't want to devote their entire education to public school because it's got out of hand. And I can speak from experience. Okay, I'll be honest. I grew up in a bad neighborhood. I really did. I would say about half my life I was in a bad neighborhood. Okay, but I didn't take anything negative from it. Even I realized, early on that yeah, this ain't what I want to bring into, my adulthood or my maturity or whatever. Not that I was doing anything bad, but I knew that the way things were is not the way things I wanted them to be. But having said that, I can remember clearly, and I believe it was the seventh or eighth grade, for sure it was middle school, where back then they called, of course, it was called language arts or whatever, but today they call it, English or whatnot. But nice teacher, I forget her name, but she was a Caucasian teacher, very, very nice and sweet, but classroom was a rambunctious bunch. And I wasn't, even though I was in that class, I was not a part of the bull. But they made her cry frequently. They did. From the disrespect. Now I don't think anyone ever really, call her a B out or a name or whatever. But it's just the fact that she really was trying to teach us something, and over half the kids just weren't receptive. They weren't paying attention. They wouldn't listen. They would continue to talk. And even back then, I felt bad for her. I'm just thinking, wow. I did my homework. I don't hate her. I don't even hate the class. But damn, y'all are really terrible. And as I said, this is a personal experience for me. Even back then, being 11, 12, 13 years old, I'm thinking that this is sad. This is really sad. And I would say at least once or twice a week, she would cry. And even as an adult, I'm thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure it's because she felt that she was just really trying. And Caucasian teacher and teaching class in a predominantly black neighborhood, and it wasn't the greatest of neighborhoods, I give her points for the bravery by default. But the fact that she was trying, and no one would, and not many, only a few of us are really receptive, and the rest were just disrespectful in the way of not listening, not adhering to, her commands. I just felt, man, that's we. But I've always said to myself, man, if it's one thing I'm teaching my kids, it is about respect. Do what you're told, and that it's that simple. But just being disrespectful, and it's even worse today. It's even worse today. I have family members that I've heard that when they were in middle school and high school, when they get mad, they would, flip their desk over. I'm thinking I never even once had, even as an adult, I haven't yet to flip over a table unless I'm helping clean up an event.
No.
Even as an adult, I have yet to flip over a table in anger. And you mean to tell me I know people in my family that did this in middle school? What is going on?
I got you. No, and as I said before, like I've seen some crazy stuff. Oh, okay. In private school, again, this is anecdotal evidence. Okay, in private school where I was, I didn't see that much craziness. So when I went to, which I went to Charlotte Damali, when I went to that high school, I see some crazy stuff. I've seen a guy. I see now. This was badass, I would say, but it's still crazy. I literally saw a guy walked up with another guy with a gun. A student walked with a guy with a gun. The student was scared of him. Took did some kind of John Wick move. Took the gun from the other student, and beat him with the gun. I was like, dang, what the hell? What the heck is going on here?
But that
and I have seen
it shouldn't be necessary,
also,
man. It shouldn't even be necessary. But
that's my whole point. That's my whole point. And we have a problem now with some parents because of how the culture is getting the way it is. That's what I say. That's why I keep on saying politics is downstream from it's culture is downstream for politics because of this. Because as Tessa was saying about the politics in school and stuff, you got these parents now trying to be friends with their daughters and their son. Like, no, I've seen women, mothers and again, I'm again just. It's not only anecdotal, but it's also I could pull up stuff of. I've seen a lot of mothers being their daughters' friends, posting posting with them and everything, which is weird. Then I've seen them treat their sons like boyfriends. I'm like, what kind of crazy? That's not gonna set up a good livelihood for him. And that's really wrong. And then you have, like I said, there's been amazing. If y'all want to go check it out. Prepare for the nonsense. You got a mother who's getting her little boy to act like a girl. Prayed it on, and in the news media, Good Morning America also prayed this as, oh, he is fierce, he's all this stuff. 11-year-old boy. And then he was inside, and I have the video of all this stuff, like I'm stating. He's inside a strip club at night, a male strip club, a homosexual strip club, stripping, men giving him money, and they're parading this. Now he ain't supposed to be there in the first place because it was only 21 and above. You got an 11-year-old boy doing this. And Good Morning America and all this stuff. You say, oh, ain't he fierce? Ain't he? Like, if I was the coach, I'd be like, this is nonsense. Hell no, this is not good. You're sexualizing this little boy. He's not going to have a productive life when he gets old. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I can guarantee he's going to be a high level. Oh, he's going to be messed up. And then you got these grown men fantasizing over a 11-year-old boy, and they putting this on mainstream TV. 8:00 in the morning. That's something I'm not down with. I'm sorry.
I have to agree, man. I'm there with you. The way things are today in this country, in this world, I just say I've separated myself from the BS, and that goes for the BS aspects, BS situations, and just BS people. I can't.
I know that.
I mean, I don't even try to understand anymore. For example, when this whole, and I don't mean to bring this back up, but believe me when I say, and this may sound bad, but my wife knows this whole George Floyd situation. Believe me when I say, I probably only read one article about what happened, and I'm already not a big social media person. I haven't logged into Facebook in probably about 2-3 months. I'm only on there once a month at best. I've seen a few people in my Twitter feed mention it, but even when I saw it, I just kept going because I have nothing to say. It's not that I don't care about what happened. It's not that I don't care what happens. It's just that it's social media. It's not going to be much truth to it. It's actually just a whole bunch of opinions and people resharing and sharing the same news from other people they know and other news outlets that don't have the whole story. But anyway, I haven't looked into it much. I haven't read much, so almost everything I'm hearing is probably at least half of it is new to me. And you can say, well, you're uninformed. That's great. But me getting out there and being pro-black or justice for Floyd, George Floyd, or whatever, guess what? It, in my mind, it's not going to change anything because everyone had a knee-jerk reaction. And it's not to say anybody was right or wrong, but I think we can all agree at this moment that whatever good intentions we may have had have been tossed out the window. They've been overshadowed by all the bad. So for me, I just feel no. You can feel any way you want to feel about me for not being all involved and stuff like that. But when it comes to any of this, whether it was Trayvon Martin or anyone else, it's not that I didn't care, and it's not that I don't think anything should be done about it because I do. But I've learned throughout my life. This is my personal experience. It's best to sit back and wait to see how things pan out because people are going to me, most people, not all, most people are going about this the right, the wrong way. The peaceful protesters, nothing wrong with what you're doing. I'm on your side. You're trying to go about things to get it done the right way. But all it takes is one, and Triple M has said this, and we agree. All it takes is one idiot to take a movement and use it for their own agenda, whether it be to loot or whatever, and then your whole peaceful protest gets labeled as negative. If you had 1,000 people peacefully protesting and you got one looter that breaks a window of a business, that whole peaceful protest gets labeled as rioting or looting. All it takes is one person. Because we have no unity. There's always somebody trying to benefit themselves rather than benefit the whole. So that's why I just sit back. As I say, it's not that I don't want to do anything, but I've seen what happens when people get in there on social. My wife brings this up all the time. The people she knows on social media, people that she thinks are good friends or whatever. Guess what? She get on social media and she see them saying things. She's like, "Wow, I would never known that." I mean, I didn't think that person felt that way, and because she doesn't feel that way towards them, just like I've seen that before. But I don't comment, I don't respond, I don't like, I don't share, I don't subscribe just because I agree with your point. If I may see it, but I keep it moving because I'm not here to support the BS. And you can say something truly inspirational, but even still, I can read it and agree, but keep it moving. We stay stuck on the same crap far too long, and by the time it's all said and done, we forgot why the hell we started in the first place. In about a week or two, no one's going to remember exactly what happened to George Floyd. All they're going to remember are the riots and the looting.
That is true.
So my thing is, why should I even bother weighing in when even my good points, my solid talking points, will be overshadowed by the ignorance or someone saying, "Well, you didn't get out there and protest." And wait a minute, I don't have to do what you think I should do, and what you did may be right, it may be wrong. We'll never know because, and I told my wife this. I told her, I said, "Hey, don't go into social media too much about this whole George Floyd thing." I said, because guess what? No one, and I do mean nobody, not the cop, not even Floyd himself, nobody has all the information. Everyone has a piece. Everyone only has a piece of the information regarding what happened. No one knows the whole story. How many times have we seen something happen and first it comes off as, "Oh, it's racism." Then all of a sudden some media outlet says, "Oh, what a person has a record." And then the second media outlet come in saying, "Oh, what a person was high." And the third media outlet come in and say, "Oh, what a cop had a record." Okay, so should I be for or against what happened? Was it justified or unjustified? No one has all the information. And so since we don't have all the facts, what point is it for me to get out there and say, "Well, justice for Floyd," or "Down with the cop," or "The cop was just"? There's no point. No one has all the details. We only have bits and pieces. Now you can go out of your way and put them together, but why waste your time? Because it won't be long before the media starts to twist things. and the facts are getting construed.
I could say this to what you're saying. I'll say this to what you're saying, and you're correct. The point that we do have enough video on this one, are we in case? But going to how you said the spin happened, it did happen exactly the way you said it. We do have enough video from the body cam and different video camera show what's happened, whatever. And I'll always say it again, like I was like when I was saying to your wife, once they're in your custody, there should be nothing more than beyond that in most cases. You shouldn't go beyond that, but that's different. Like I said, and every situation is weird because right now a lot of people are saying, and they like his cousins and stuff like, oh, the cop know Floyd and this from this bouncer club and all that problem. And okay, and that all could be true or not true, like you were saying, Doc. I mean, Ken, it could be that, but I could tell you this: you already pushed it to murder 2. If you push this crap to murder 1, you're gonna get more rights because you're not gonna convict him. You cannot prove intent. I'm not a lawyer, but I just know the simple basic of the law. And I said it on my old radio show with Radio T3 when Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman was going on. Nobody saw the initial setup. Nobody saw who started the confrontation, who swing first, whatever. But we know that Zimmerman killed Trayvon. It should have been, and I might go and find my old radio clips of that and put it up on the channel just so people can hear me say it. But nobody knows that initial start. So, but we know that the fact is we know Zimmerman killed Trayvon. Get him on murder 3. I don't know about murder 2, but get him on something. He would have been in jail for 10, 15 years. And whatever. His life is bad right now, but at least being in jail, whatever. Now, because he pushes to murder 1, he walks scot-free because you couldn't prove intent. How you could prove intent? Well, the 911 person said that you should stay there. Okay, yeah, but in his mind, he could have think this guy's walking around, scooping around, looking for stuff, and maybe wanted to go and rob someplace. We do not know, as you said, Ken. We do not know. So please, I mean, the cop did something bad. He did another thing bad as well too, which now they're gonna prosecute him on that. So they might get him on that if anything. But the other one, do not push this more. I mean, murder 2 is bad enough, but do not. The district attorney, please do not listen to the mob like the Florida district attorney did and try to push to murder 1. Don't. And last but not least, I want to say this because it's going to be 2 hours, so I want to finish off with this, and I'll let you guys have your little say as well too. We're seeing there's a quote from a book. There's a lot of people who don't read books, which is sad. And now you got Amazon banning books, which is also just as bad as people book burning. Funny how that works. Cycle repeats itself, even though it's a different format. Funny how that works. But now we got people naming streets after Black Lives Matter, George Floyd. Okay, that's all cool. As Chris Rock says, Martin Luther King was a peaceful person. And Ken, Tessa, if you could test to this, this is not anecdotal evidence only, but I know in the 2 places in Raleigh and in Durham, in most cases, you don't want to be in those streets.
No, I agree. I can't account for every state or every major city, but I can account for where I am. And yeah, that street to me, it represents. It's almost like the damn favelas. It represents poverty. It represents. I mean, nothing on that street even looks good. And I mean, honestly, I will only stop there. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't see it as infested with crime and death. But when I look at MLK in my area versus where I live now or where I've even lived before, it looks like the hood. It really does. It's a street that if you ever become successful, you probably don't want to drive down ever again. That not because you'll get robbed, but you just don't want prying eyes to be focused on you because you'll feel out of place. Even now, I will even say this: where I am, if you were to drive down MLK, I would even just say in a nice loaded Hyundai, you may feel a little bit out of place. If you drove a 2019 Hyundai down MLK, you feel, man, I don't think I belong over here. I don't feel like this is the safest place for me to be. It may not be Fifth Ward, but it's not the safest place for me to be. I don't feel that there's many people down here like on the street like me, and that's the truth.
Well, skin folk don't mean kinfolk.
so I where Chris Rock said that all those years ago, even as an adolescent, I completely agreed. I knew exactly where he was coming from. Like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not a street that you would choose to be on if you have a choice.
Yep. And I'll say this as my day job, I'll also do a podcast about this, which is at first I didn't just like how Tessa was saying about learning about stuff. And then because of my job, I figured out things. When I learned about gentrification, I didn't know what it was. I learned about it. I was like, okay, I'm against that. But then when you go and you see it in the process and you see what happens, you're like, well, I see why it happens. Is it bad to kick people out of houses and yes, if they, and in most cases they don't even own it. It's just like they rent it, whatever it is. I get it, and I'll talk about it more. But when I go in the backyards of these houses, and I have a video of that too. I literally took a video. I'm seeing baby diapers, trash, TVs. Like, clean. Hey, yes, it's better kick you out, but clean up your house.
And you know, I said this to my wife too. As I told you guys, I'm from a bad neighborhood, but I would tell you this, and this is not just the black community, but it's all. I think one of the biggest problems is that when it comes to these type of neighborhoods, they don't even care to improve it themselves, but they'll be the first ones to say, "Oh, you guys never help us. You never bring anything over here. Why would I want to bring my nice 4-star restaurant? I wouldn't say 5-star. Why would I bring my nice 4-star restaurant to an area where your McDonald's even got robbed? Your McDonald's has a bulletproof window, but you want me to bring Olive Garden over here or Buca de Beppo or whatever other high-end restaurant. You want me to bring this to your area when your McDonald's has a bulletproof window? No, it's not going to happen. Why would I bring my Costco to this area when I see people playing dice, playing craps outside of your local grocery store?
Well, you know what? You're right. And also, I have a video of this again. Like I said, I have all these examples, so don't worry about it. I will show you. There's a video this is how crazy this one is. There are women. It's a Asian store doing hair and of course selling weave and everything and all this stuff. And this woman stole something. The owner, which is Asian, was confronted with it. Now she touched the owner, like pulled him back, and he punched her. He did punch her. Okay? And it's on video. People see this, right? Here's something that's funny though. And it goes to what you were saying, Tessa. If you could jump in on this for a quick second before we finish up. But in the video, that's what happened. Then, a couple days later, and this is always said, the narrative can be taken over so easy. So it's on thing, and people say, "Oh, he's a horrible person that did this stuff. He punched a woman and stuff like that." Okay. So you had black men outside have signs saying we should shut this store down, blah blah blah. This is wrong. You should not treat women like this, whatever. Okay. This guy hit a woman. Not again. Not I didn't say it's justified or not, but he didn't do it because he wanted to do it. She did do something to him. Okay. In that same second video though, what happened? It was a couple days later. You would think you would think as a person, okay, this guy just punched a black guy. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna go to his store. You know what that store did? They had a half off sale. Smart on them. Sorry, but I call it what it is. They had a half off sale. Say, okay, this is bad publicity. We're gonna lose money, so you better have no money. Half off sale on all the stuff. It had a line around the block. And when the guys were saying we were protesting that, did you know what he did and blah blah blah, women went up and argued with the black men, said, "You don't know what we're doing." But I was like, wow, how can you fix that?
Oh boy.
How can you can anybody tell me how you can fix that? Other than you, so you got men standing up saying you should not hit a woman, and women are coming up to argue with them, but still you go into the store because it's half off.
Capitalism, man. Capitalism.
That's not capitalism. That is stupidity.
Look, we all.
I know you.
We all trying to get by. So
no. Okay, you all trying to get by. You're right, but I know you can. If somebody does me wrong and don't want my business, I'm not patronizing them no more.
But they do me.
I don't care the price.
Well, they do me wrong on my business, but then they do a half off sale. I'll come back.
I won't. Well, you're better than. Oh, okay. I'll remember that when we do our other podcast when you say your stuff about video games and stuff. Okay.
Oh, see, that's a whole different story, man.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll leave that alone.
I'm just saying, when a struggle is real, you take your victories where you can.
Okay. That's a victory?
I mean, look, let's say this product you want to buy is normally $100. You mean to tell me you can get it for 50 if you swallow your pride for a moment? I'll swallow my pride for a moment, get it for that 50, and then I'll go back to protesting.
Wow. Yeah, well, I can't do that. I have integrity. I can't do that.
Let me tell you what we all have in common: our wallets.
True. That's true. That is true.
So we all have in common.
But you can't stand up and say we don't want these, these like the stores or there's only Asian stores in our community, blah blah blah. But then when they treat you bad, you still go back to them.
Let me ask you this. So let's say if you went to a Nissan dealership to buy a brand new GTR, and they didn't want your business, they talk trash to you, whatever they say that offends you, and then they turn around and say, "Oh, half off." You mean to tell me as bad as you want a GTR, you going to say, the hell with Nissan? Come on now. Party's going to be thinking, I still want that car though.
No. You can have the product, but the store. That's what I'm talking about. And I have that. That has happened to me in real life. Not a GTR, but I had my first car that I bought. The dealership did treat me bad, and I never went back to the dealership. And they did care. Like, I complained to Nissan. They fixed them. They gave me my money, but the dealership, send me stuff. Oh, we could do, like you just said, we could take $5,000, $7,000 off a car. I don't care. You didn't treat me right. I'm not going back.
I mean, like I said, I'll take the deal, but I still won't. But technically, you're gonna take a loss from me. You're gonna take a loss from me.
Well, that's you. I'm not because when basically the problem was the lug nuts had snapped, and I carried a car to Nissan for anything to fix. So it was not like I went to another place or nothing. I carried the lug nut was slapping off. We're hearing this weird noise, and I took it to Nissan, and they're like, "Oh wow, the lug nut snapped." I was under warranty and everything too. It was like I think I had the car for 3 years, and the lug nut snapped, and they were like, "Oh well, oh wow." I paid the $89 for them to check out what the problem is, and then they were like, "Oh, to fix that, it's gonna be $200 and something." I'm like, "What?" But it's under warranty, and you guys been fixing the car, so replace it. No, it'll be $200 and something. Blah blah. I'm like, whoa. I ain't paying no $200 for a stud. I'm not. I went to another, not a dealership. I went to an independent mechanic. He fixed it for $5. He fixed it for $5, and I've been until that the guy who was the manager of that place, when he left about a couple months later, I stopped going to that place because he treated me with respect and everything and good. But my point was, yeah, I didn't went back to Nissan because they didn't really care. And of course, more of the lug nuts kept on snapped in, so it was the defect. And that dealership didn't want to take it, so it's like, I'm not going back to that dealership. No, I complained to Nissan. They get, even though I fixed it for $5, they gave me the $200 whatever as a money to give to it. You know what I mean?
Come on.
But
all you had to do is swallow your pride, man.
okay, if they're gonna do that to that, you don't want my business. I'm sorry. You can say what you want.
I agree with you though. And honestly, and all games aside, I completely agree with you. I've had that situation myself.
Yeah. So I'm not down with that stuff. If something's wrong, it's wrong. If it's the same thing with what happened with quick sign on quickly, it's like with Harvey Weinstein and everything. Yes, I don't have that much respect for, I forgot the name of the girl. There was two girls who were the lead. Dang it, but I remember the name. But when Zara Dawson, whatever, I don't want to say her name wrong, but when she was like, oh, she had evidence and everything. But the problem is though, she had the evidence for years, so she could have stopped him from doing horrible stuff, and she didn't. So I should praise you because you finally came out when the money was drying up and you could hit him on something? No, I'm not gonna praise you for that. You could have stopped other women from getting raped. You didn't. And that's what people need to see how, like I say, integrity is very. We don't have integrity as much as, again, going back to what we're talking about kids. They want to be friends with their kids. They don't want to be parents no more. It's a whole mess that we could talk about for sure. So again, this was just to introduce you guys to, as you could hear, different sides of coins, or different sides of everything, to hear different opinions. And again, once I get everything, to be honest, once I get everything set up on the YouTube channel, guys, you guys could share and help us out, whatever in that regard. Just share the program, subscribe to the channel. You will see a playlist that's from Tessa. You'll see a playlist from Ken. Like, I want to give everybody there a little platform to speak out about anything they want to speak out, because that's what Project Open My I like Black Lives Matter. My mission statement is simple. We might not agree 100%, but I want to hear as best as opinions as best as we can, to have a conversation, and hopefully we have it without being agitated or really being nipping at each other's throats or nothing. But yeah, give a mic, get up, see what you got to say, and let's talk about the conversation. So I want to thank Ken and his wife Tessa for joining me tonight. Again, we'll be hearing more from them, right?
That is correct. And my wife's not next to me right now. She realized that she had not eaten anything for hours, so she went down to grab herself a bite to eat.
It's understandable. It's understandable. And like I said, they're in Texas while I'm in North Carolina. You have people gonna be in LA, in London, in different places. If I get everything the way I want to set up on this for this website and everything. Also, I'm gonna get a website and everything straightened out, so we don't gotta depend on YouTube and everything as well too. It takes time to do this, but like generally, I hope you guys could stand by us, share, and be a part of the conversation. And because again, I've seen a chat from from Facebook, including from Radio T3 on Tempo FM. I apologize. This one I wasn't gonna read the chat because there was so much stuff flying and everything. So again, we'll catch up with you guys next time. But we will get everything to be more a better product. I guarantee you on that.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad I could be here. Thank you for having us. We look forward to coming back. My wife may be back next week. But yeah, definitely. I look forward to us having this discussion again about various things. And I hope next time Andre can be on here as well.
Yeah. And again, we're not going to talk all just politics, just like we just did right now, which is good. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about fathers, mothers. Fathers is coming up. We want fathers to be in their kids' lives. We want mothers to be in their kids' life. But I don't like the whole thing of saying, but oh, he's just a sperm donor. Well, you're just there are mothers out there who are egg donors. Just they don't do nothing for their kids at all either.
Very true.
So we're gonna call it as is, down the line as best as we can. Can we mess up? Yes, but we're human beings. And like I always said, the evil comes in all shapes, sizes, color, creeds, height, sexuality, make no ethnicity. Evil's evil. And my best thing is this: individual people stupid, individual smart, be that smart individual. This is taken from Project Open Mic with Ken and Tessa. Wishing y'all a good night, and again, hopefully